visiting from Seattle, Washington. Born and raised there, went to school there too. Actually, I got a call from my old university earlier this week, and they went, "Hey, we want you to give us $200. In exchange, we'll give you a branded University of Washington license plate." It's like, I'm 33 years old. I drive a 99 Camry with 200,000 miles on it. You should be paying me. Make sure no one knows I went to your university. This sales call has turned into a hostage negotiation. How about you give me the $200 and I'll buy a hoodie from the rival college. One of my best friends from school, same age as me, no car, never had a driver's license his whole life. But this past year, he did just get his private investigator certification. And I love the idea of a PI with no license. He's just like, "Bus driver, follow that car." Before I get too deep into this set, I want to point out I am aware I have a certain type of energy to me. Like, if you shut your eyes, I actually sound less like a comedian and more like an audiobook narrator. After each punchline, I should just go, "End of joke 2." Growing up, I had a favorite teacher. Her name was Mrs. Hoover. She was our health teacher in high school. And she's the kind of teacher where she didn't really cover anything she was supposed to, just stories about her life every single day. So by the end of the year, I didn't know anything about the human body or the reproductive system, but I did know most of the mistakes Mrs. Hoover made in her early 20s. Our first pop quiz, she goes, "What is the epididymis?" I was like, "I think that's the Greek island where she cheated on her boyfriend." During our unit on the dangers of drugs, she told the whole class, she goes, "You should never have sex in the drug Molly, because it'll be so good that it will ruin regular sex." And I looked and I was like, that is not in the textbook. My high school is actually far less anti-drug and more anti-tobacco. I grew up in a window of time, a lot of judgment around smoking. And I have realized actually there's one group that loves smokers, no judgment. A dog loves a smoker. Dogs love smokers. The dog's like, "You're telling me we get to go out 11 times in one day? This is the best day of my life. Whatever is driving you to behave like this, I hope it never stops. Look at us, me and you. We're both aging in dog years." My high school, we had one rule for all the school dances. It was no freak dancing allowed. That's what they called it, no freak dancing. Bottom of the poster, smaller font, no one is allowed to be bent over more than 90 degrees. And 90 degrees feels like a lot. You can work with a lot less than 90 degrees. Often as you get older, you have to. But I love that poster, because that means there was a PTA meeting where the geometry teacher broke out a protractor in front of all of the parents. It was like, picture your sons and picture your daughters. When are we uncomfortable? High school is a dangerous time, High school is a very dangerous time. You say the wrong thing in high school, it'll follow you. There was a kid in that health class, earnest question, not being a smartass. He goes, "Mrs. Hoover, can you use butter as lube?" And for the rest of his high school career, everybody called him Butter Boy. And I don't stand for any type of bullying whatsoever. But let's be honest. If you went to our guidance counselor, he's like, "Mrs. Gastaldi, everyone's been calling me Butter Boy, and I don't know what to do about it." She's like, "That's awful, Spencer. Why would they do that?" He's like, "Well, one time, during a quiet reading period in class, during the cruelest years of my friends' lives, I asked if you could use butter as lube." She's like, "Well, I don't know what you want me to do about that, Butter Boy." And now whenever I use lube, I can't help but think, man, I can't believe it's not butter. I lost my virginity my senior year of high school, and I put the condom on just like I learned in health class. And my girlfriend at the time, she's like, "What the fuck are you doing with that banana right now? Why did you peel the banana?" And that was my first relationship. End of high school through all of college. So when it came to an end, I was 21 years old, never been single before as an adult. I was going to bars and clubs for the first time. And I was talking to this lady one night, thought it was going pretty well. She had her hand going up and down my leg. And all of a sudden she goes, "Oh my gosh, you are so nervous right now. You have no idea what you're doing." I was like, "That's not true." And she goes, "Prove it to me." So I did what I thought a cool guy in the movies you do. And I leaned in, and she leaned in, and I leaned in, and she leaned in, and we kissed. And she looked back at me and she just goes, "That's not how a confident man kisses a lady." I was like, "Yeah, because you're a stranger." No, but if you saw a man just grab a woman by the hair at a bar, you wouldn't go, "Hey, look, what a confident man." I bet he would bring 8 of his own rugs for a comedy taping. But she reached back out, she grabbed me by the shirt and she pulled me in, and she kissed me really hard and she goes, "Now that's you kiss a lady." I was like, "I'm not a lady." "You were the lady." Then I put my bike helmet on and I ran away like a man. I have a girlfriend again now, and I love having a girlfriend because I love women. You know, very brave of me to say I love women. I love women because women improve men, you know? For every single lotion in my skincare routine, I can tell you the name of a woman I used to date. And it's not that I don't teach my girlfriend stuff too. It's just not that the information is not equally valued. Like, we were making dinner one night, and I picked up the tomato, and I was like, "Did you know if you put this tomato in the microwave, it won't explode? It'll just kind of melt like a sad candle?" And she's like, "Why do you know that?" I was like, "Well, one time, 3 days ago, me and my friend Brad, we got pretty high, and we invented a new game show, and it's called Cook Time, and it's exactly like The Price is Right, but instead of trying to guess how much a vacuum cleaner costs, we try to figure out how long different pieces of produce will last in the microwave before they explode. And I lost $50 on the tomato." And she just kind of had this like stunned look on her face, so I doubled down. I picked up a piece of broccoli, and I was like, "Did you know?" And she was, "Let me guess, it explodes after a minute." I was like, couldn't be further from the truth. The broccoli will never explode, and you'll dig yourself out of a $75 hole. End of joke 12. I was a very shy, quiet kid growing up. I wasn't always this loud and charismatic. I loved to read as a kid. I loved reading. When I was in 5th grade, I took an aptitude test, and I was reading at a 10th grade level. Pretty cool, pretty impressive. 33 years old now, proud to say, still reading at a 10th grade level. But I've been working on it. I've been trying to get back in the game, you know? I was in Oakland, California a few years ago now. I go into the bookstore, immediately drawn to a fantasy novel. Slim chance, maybe a handful of you might have heard of it. It's a book called Fourth Wing. Yeah. And I finished the book, and it turns out I love literature written for horny women. If you don't know the novel, it's a smut novel about an elite dragon riding academy. It's pretty much Top Gun, but for dragons. Only if Maverick and Iceman did full penetration. And something you know, from the cover alone, you would never know this was a smut novel. I certainly didn't know when I bought the book. It's kind of like if you got 200 pages into the Fellowship of the Ring, and the hobbits just had an orgy. And I know I'm not the demo for the novel because it's 665 pages. 665 pages of smut. And only a woman would need that many pages. Smut for Men would be a one-sided pamphlet. And it would start with the sentence, "He put it in." But I'm in Baltimore reading the book. Me and my buddy Tyler were sharing a hotel together for some shows. He goes, "Wow, we both brought books. How fun would it be if we each read a page?" I was like, "I hate that idea." And he goes, my book is about the history of storytelling. And it says in here that story is a human tradition passed down via genetics, the same way eye color or hair color is. Isn't that fascinating? I was like, that is so fascinating. What's even more fascinating is that somehow my book is about the exact same thing. So you could probably just skip it tonight. He goes, read the page you're on right this second. I go, all right, well, like I said, the book's been pretty academic up until this point in time. So this page does feel like just a little bit of a departure from the rest of the book. But what it says is, he slipped the strap of my nightgown from my shoulder, and the cool air kissed the hardened peak of my nipple. So 2 hours later, we finished the book. All right, thank you very much for your time, everybody. Have a great rest of the show.